Writing a resume can seem overwhelming, but today we're going to teach you how to write a resume in 5 steps. Now, when you write a resume, there are a few things we're trying to focus on. The first thing we want to look at is make sure that we're focused on your future and not your past. But what I mean by that is that we want to ensure that what you put on your resume is not just a list of tasks that you completed at your previous job, but how those tasks prepared you for your future career. This resume is going to include a background of your academic training, the experiences you've had outside the classroom, and the skills you've gained. For most students, a one-page resume is sufficient. However, if you're a teacher or going into a helping field such as social work, a 2-page resume is preferred. Now, one thing I like to make sure students know is that resumes are sales documents. They're not a biography. So you may leave off information, and when you submit a resume in one organization, it might be different than a resume you submit to another organization. The basic resume format looks like what you see on the screen here. You're going to see your name, and that always has to be larger. I generally start with an 18-point font, your email address, and your phone number. For the majority of students, we're going to lead with your education. If you have a lot of experience, meaning 5 or more years of professional experience, we'll often change that and lead with your experience first. But for today, we're going to start with education. You'll see on the screen here, we list the University of Northern Iowa, the degree the students are receiving, the fact they have a minor, and their grade point. You may replace or add or change some of these things, including if you've studied abroad or if you have a group of courses you took that you didn't get a full degree in, you might list extensive coursework in. As far as the grade point, if it's above a 3.0, we will always list it. For transfer students, you'll list on there the community college you went to and the degree you received. If you did not receive a degree, you did not list the community college. Now, for the majority of students, the next section we go into is your experience. On all experiences, we start off with a bold of where you were. The second thing we're going to list on there is what you did, the position title. If you notice on the right side of the page, you'll include the dates. Employers like to see the starting month and the year and the ending month and the ending year. In this particular example, the person's still working there, so they'll use present tense rather than past tense verbs. Now, one thing I do like to encourage students to do is not just to think of their experiences as jobs. If you're a student athlete, your experience may actually be the sport you played. Likewise, if you are involved with a really intensive student organization, maybe you're the president of Dance Marathon or the vice president of student government, these are actually experiences that will help shape the reader understand the skills you've gained. One thing I do mention is that we do start with the newest to oldest experience. The only note on that is if your previous experience was far superior. So if you went off last summer, did an incredible internship, and then this next school year come back and take a pretty basic campus job, we'll lead with your internship. On every experience, you'll need to answer this one question. How did this experience or how did this position prepare you for your future career? Now, when we write bullets with students, we essentially sit down and we ask you to start off with this process of thinking what skills are needed for your future job. The 4 skills that we often will start off with for every job is teamwork, problem solving, communication, and leadership. Here's what this would look like. If I was meeting with a student who is thinking about going to teaching, we'll start off with the big 4, teamwork, problem solving, communication, leadership, and we might add on a skill about pedagogy or assessment, and you can make this list as long as you want. I typically cap it around 12 though. And then we think about that previous job. So in this case, the student was a cashier at a store, and you'll see on there the skills or the tasks they completed. And they didn't put a lot of depth on there because we're not thinking bullets. We're literally just thinking of all the tasks you had to complete in that job. And then we refine it. We start with bullets. Now, every bullet can continue to be refined and refined and refined. What we watch for are numbers or results. So in this case, this teacher is going to focus on the fact they trained 11 new staff and that they're responsible to resolve guest issues. If the student was moving towards becoming an accountant, the same experience might look like this. You'll see we replaced pedagogy with analysis, and we added on advisory. And then the bullets changed. They changed from what we had previously, managed, to analyzed, advised, and then the managed was guest relations. You'll do the same thing. Create a 3-column grid, the skills you need, the position you had previously, and then write the pretty bullet. Now, the final part we look at on your resume is making sure you're telling your story. If you've traveled extensively or lived in other countries or speak other languages, let's make sure we incorporate that into the resume because that's something you'll be proud of. Likewise, if you have a hobby that's unique, if you play an instrument, or if you're a president of a student group, or if you do something that makes you different than others, let's highlight those experiences and list them out like a job, but we'll fit them under a category often called leadership activities or something similar. Now, the 5th thing is I want to work with you to help you tell your story better. And the way we do this is either by contacting Career Service by email, career-guides@uni.edu, or calling the main office number. We'd love to sit across from you and have a conversation about what we can pull out of your resume that a future employer would like to see. Thanks and good luck. Happy writing.